Hi everybody. I am going to do a demo today for Patreon for my patrons, and I've been wanting to do this one for a while now. So I'm gonna get this one underway, and what I'm going to be using today, besides watercolor paper and watercolor paint, is your everyday coffee filters. So you can use the unbleached as well. I just happen to have these on hand. So yeah, so they're fun little doodads to get a unique effect. Okay, so with that being said, I've got my watercolor paper here. I took a full sheet of older paper that I'm going to use for the demo here, and we'll just see how that works, and we'll take it from here. So I'm going to take, I have to move this up for a sec. Well, hang on one second, guys. I just have to do something right here. Okay, and I'm going to move this guy over here. Hold on. All right, I'm going to move that guy over there. Okay, so like I said, I've got my watercolor paint right here. I've got my palette. I've got my mixing palette, my color palette. I am going to spray these. I should have done this first, but I didn't. So I'm going to get some water in here, wet my paint, and just let me know if, I hope you can hear me. It looks like my sound is working okay. My voice is a little bit weak today. I'm a little bit under the weather. But I want to get this done and get it out to my patrons. This is what it's all about. So I'm going to give that a little bit more water. Give that a little bit more. Just loosen that paint right up. So I'm going to just do a couple ways here. A couple different things. So I marked off this paper in 4 segments. So I'm going to take what I have here, move this up, because right now you're not getting the whole deal. And I have to move this up a little bit more, move that over and up, so that you can get the whole thing. Okay. There we go. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to move this here. I'll move that over there. I see my filming table's all out of whack. For some reason, I had trouble, I had a lot of trouble with my screen sharing today. I have no idea why. So I'm just praying that nothing happens to it when I'm filming here. Okay, so I'm going to just give this some water. I'm going to put some water on my paper here. I'm going to just get this wet. Yep. And just get that a little wet. Jeez. This brush has got a lot of hairs in it. Unusual. Very unusual. Alright, so. Let's my, alrighty. Okay, get this, put that, get that wet. So I know I can't, you're going to have to do like time lapses in this so that you guys can see, you know, what it does. But that's okay. So I will just start it and stop it when I have to. Let it dry in between. Okay, so right now, I'm going to do two ways, okay? I'm going to take the paper, and first thing I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to lay it down and tear it, irregular tear, and I'm going to put it down there. I'm going to put that down that way. So we're going to do two different ways, okay? I'm going to do it like this, like this. I'm putting it down on, I'm just tearing it and putting it down on the wet watercolor paper, okay? This is one way I'm going to do it. And then the other way, I'm going to apply color and then put the paper down and see what happens. So I'm going to take my brush and let's see. I think I want to use some blues. So let's maybe use some green. Let's pretend we're going to do, let's pretend. I'm going to mix some green here. Oops, you can't really see that, can you? Okay, we'll do it up there. I'm mixing some sap green here. A little bit of sap green. And I'm going to add a little bit of red to that just to bring it down so it's not as bright. Wipe that off first. And I'm going to go get some, I think I'm going to get some Winsor red. I'm just going to add a little bit of, I'm going to put this here. I'm just going to add a little bit of Winsor red to it. Let me add a little bit more. Oh, well, I brought that down a lot. So I'm going to add a little bit more. Let's turn that off. See, you can't really, that's better. That's better. You can see that better, believe it or not. Okay, and a little bit more sap green. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to come back to this right here with my brush. And I'm going to just start laying this color in. And I'm going to add it right there. Go off the page a little bit. I love doing things where it adds texture to a painting. There's all different kinds of ways you can add texture. And this is just another one. Isn't that cool though? What that looks like? I think that's so cool. And I might have to mix a little bit more paint. Looks like I might have to get a little bit. Well, let's just mix up a little bit more. So I'm going to add that sap green again. Right there. Yep, and I'm going to add some more. I'm going to add some more red. Let's get some more Winsor red on that. Just a touch. Just a touch. It kind of makes it a pretty olive green, doesn't it? It really neutralizes it. But I'm going to add just some straight sap too to see what happens, okay? Let's just add some brighter green in some areas like in here. And maybe here. Let's add a little bit more. It's really pretty. So let's pretend like this would be great for, let's see. Yeah, there we go. Now, paper's pretty wet, and so is this coffee filter. But I'm going to make sure that I put enough color down so that when I take it off, okay, so this is this part. We're going to put the color, the paper down, and then the color, and then up here, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to take, I'm going to just spray this a little bit more there, and just put that. Yeah, let's see. Right now we're going to do it different. We're going to add the color first up here. Let's do it. Let's pretend we're going to make an imaginary landscape, okay? So, trying to figure out what color I should do for that. So this one, I'm going to take this off here. I'm going to just clean that off and put another color down. Let's put another color down there. Right now, this one, let's see. What should we add here? Oh, let's see. How about let's do something with phthalo blue. Let's take some phthalo blue, okay? And we're going to tone this down. I'm going to tone the phthalo blue down, and we're going to add some cadmium red light to that, just to tone the brightness down, okay? And let's go to the cadmium red light, which is right here. It's good to have your colors arranged on your palette. Doesn't matter whether you're painting in watercolor or oil or acrylic. But it's always, always good to have your colors arranged so that you know exactly where they are when you need them. It's nothing worse than like stopping and then having to look on your palette to find out where they are. So I always have my palettes arranged in a specific way. So I'm going to just lay this color in here. I accidentally just got it on. I don't really want that little bit on that side, but here, we're just going to lay some of this down. We're just going to see what happens, okay? Well, let's add, I'm going to do something. I'm just playing right now. I know. It's like, what's she doing? What's she doing? If I sound funny, my speech, I apologize. I have my braces in, and sometimes I talk with a lisp. I apologize if I am lisping a little bit. I have to be, I'm going to put a little more in there. Whoa. So we don't know what's going to happen here, but we are going to put this down. Right? And I'm going to put a little bit more in here. Don't know what's going to happen. We'll just see, right? And I'm going to put a tiny bit more phthalo blue down. I just want a little bit richer color. I just want a little bit more saturated. Let's see what happens, okay? And I'm going to lay it down there. And I'm going to lay some more in here. All right, and okay. Right, now I'm going to take this and I'm gonna crumple this up again. And I'm going to tear strips of that. I'm going to lay that down. Sort of like, right now it kind of looks like it's the old saran wrap idea, but we'll just see which way we like better, right? So we'll just check it out. And I suppose we could do it too where you don't wrinkle up the paper so you don't get as much texture going. But let's do this. And put some strips here, there, there, and let's put some in here. All right. Oh, well, that looks like it just soaks it all up in the paper itself. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to let it dry, okay? And then we're going to come back when it's totally dry and see what we have. That one didn't really do much. Okay, so we're going to pause, okay? And then I'm going to come back when it's dry and we'll see what we've got. Okay, so I let it dry a little bit. I actually brought in the hair dryer and went to, dry it a little bit, but I didn't have to with this. It just kind of blew right off. And this is what I got using the coffee filter. So as you can see, it's almost like using the saran wrap technique. It kind of gives you that same idea. Actually, and the other thing too is if you let these dry, they might end up being pretty cool pieces for, which I think I'm going to do. I'm just going to lay them out. You could actually make these into collage pieces right here. So I'm going to lay those out and just let those dry. Not so much that one, but you could actually make collage pieces out of the dried coffee filters. That would be another beautiful thing to do for a painting. I'm going to lift that one up. That one's still pretty wet. And I don't know if these are ready to be lifted up. I'm just going to lift a corner here and see what we have. Oh, now look at this. So I'm going to actually lift this up right now. Oh, is that ever cool? Oh, I like that. That's very cool. And again, these saved coffee filters, they would make some pretty darn cool collage papers if you let them dry. Look at that. That's really cool. So here's a thought. now that I'm lifting these up, I do want to let them dry totally. They're still pretty wet, but you could really, at this point, if you wanted to work it, you could take some water and just kind of blend in those edges, but I'm going to leave it right now and just let it dry some more. I don't know what will happen if I added this, but let me see. Let's see what happens. I don't want to move the paint around. I want it to stay exactly how it is. So that is really cool. I think with the, yeah, that's super cool. So this is really cool. So I actually like both of the textures that we get. This one reminds me more of the saran wrap technique. It's kind of a combo between saran wrap and wax paper. Um, it's kind of a combo there, but it's really beautiful. I actually kind of envision snowy mountaintops right now, like just the way this texture is, like rocky kind of. Um, yeah, but Mom, I'll just show you what I mean. Just I don't want to wreck it, so I'm not going to use a lot of water here. But I do want to show you my idea. I'm probably using too big of a brush. But just like you could feather some areas, you know? Like you could go into it a little bit. I don't know, it's pretty staining. But let's say you wanted to just manipulate it a little bit. Work out the edges a little bit. You could do something like that. You could probably add paint, but I'm not going to do that. I am going to blend this edge in right here because it's pretty sharp. And just dry my brush off a little bit. Boy, when I first took watercolor at Wayne State, I could not stand that class. I mean, everything that I did came out like a tie-dye t-shirt. It was awful. Until you learn how to control the paint and the water with the water, that's when everything just comes to life, You realize all these wonderful things that you can do. Let's just do this a little bit. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Very organic, Very, very organic. Yeah. So anyway, that is the technique sharing for today. And if you have any questions, by all means, just shoot me an email. I'd be happy to answer. But that is pretty darn cool. I'm just going to let that totally dry before I do anything else. But that's what we got when we are doing the, whoa, that makes it really bright when I turn that on. Too bright. Yeah, turn that back off. So, all right, guys. Well, I will see you soon with another cool technique. It's Julia from Julia's Palette Studio on Patreon, and I'm happy to have you here. I love you guys, and I'll see you soon.